Welcome to FM Tuition Academy. Today we're looking at a past paper and answering several questions so that you've got a clear understanding on how papers come. Listen to Teacher Frank as he explains. Thank you very much for giving me audience. So listen. Question 1. Photosynthesis is a chemical reaction that takes place in a plant. Okay? Which characteristics of living organism is described by the statement above? Okay? Something that takes place in plants. Okay? Something that takes place in plants. Locomotion takes place in animals. Locomotion means movement. Excretion takes place in animals. Reproduction takes place in animals and plants. But the more accurate answer here is C, nutrition. The answer for question 1 is actually C. As you can see, it's written correct answer is C. Make sure you're writing these questions. There's a part written reasoning here. The process, there's a part written reasoning for you to help you to understand. I'll send these answers on the group. I'm just explaining them so that you have a clear understanding, okay? Question 2. Question 2 is saying the diagram shows an experiment. I said question 1, the answer is C. And the reason the answer is C is saying the reasoning is the process of photosynthesis manufactures food, starch or carbohydrate. Starch is consumed by living organisms. That's what is called nutrition. Okay? Now, question 2. Let's look at question 2. Look at question 2. This is question 2. The diagram shows an experiment to demonstrate when doing photosynthesis. What we ask ourselves first is, what is photosynthesis? In grade 7, we learned that photosynthesis is a process by which green plants manufacture their own food using sunlight energy. Okay? As we kept on studying, when we reached grade 10 and 11, we learned the new ways of photosynthesis. That photosynthesis is a process by which a green plant manufactures starch using sunlight energy and produces what? Oxygen. Okay? So the end product of photosynthesis is always oxygen. But what are the two elements that combine in photosynthesis to produce starch and oxygen? As you can see down here, this part is written reasoning down here. There's a part written reasoning. Can you see? Reasoning. It's telling you that during photosynthesis, oxygen is down here. I'm reading down. It's saying, where it's written reasoning, during photosynthesis, oxygen is produced as shown in the word equation. So during photosynthesis, what are the two elements that combine? Carbon dioxide combines with water. Light is absorbed by chlorophyll to produce starch and oxygen. It means the end product of photosynthesis is actually oxygen. So it means carbon dioxide combines with water and sunlight that has been absorbed by chlorophyll to produce starch and water. Produce starch and oxygen. So it means the end product of photosynthesis is actually oxygen. So here, why they're saying what is the name of gas X? It's actually oxygen, which is D. That's why when you're checking here, down here, it's telling you that the answer is actually D. Question 2, the correct answer is D. Okay? These are the answers. Make sure you write these questions in your book. You need to write these questions in your book because the end product of photosynthesis is actually oxygen. The gas produced is actually oxygen. I'll send these questions, but I'm explaining them so that you have a clear understanding on what this is. The next question. The diagram below shows an external view of a mammal heart. Okay? This is a mammal heart. The heart that is found in mammals. What are the following parts? What is part 1? Part 1 is actually the aorta. As you can see, I've summarized these things for you. They are here. They are here. So associated facts and reasoning. As you can see, 1 is aorta. 1 there. This box here is showing you the names. 1 is the aorta. 1 here is the aorta. 2. The part 2. As you can see, the labeled part 2. Just below the aorta. The labeled part 2 is a pulmonary artery. Okay? The labeled part Q there is a pulmonary artery. Okay? 2 is a pulmonary artery. 3 is a coronal artery. 3 is a coronal artery. It does as it's entering the lungs there. The heart there. They're like two small branches. You see? The coronary artery. Okay, coronary artery, and then 4, it is a vena cava. Okay, so these are labeled here, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So the correct answer here is actually B. Correct answer is B. Okay, correct answer is actually B. Okay, correct answer is actually B. Okay, so correct answer is actually B. Let's go to the next question. They are labeled for you there. I've already named them there. Okay. Okay. Now we are looking at question B. The diagram shows a section through the human skin. How do the structures 1, 2, and 3 regulate the body temperature on a hot day? Whenever it's hot, the process that takes place in the skin, it is vasodilation. Vasodilation, not vasoconstriction. When it is hot, the process that takes place in your skin is vasodilation. So what are these parts? The part 1 is the sweat gland. That part 1 is the sweat gland. 2 is the elector muscle. 3, those are actually blood vessels. Okay? Or nerves. Okay? Nerves or blood vessels. Now, what are the answers here? It means everywhere where it's written vasoconstriction. Question A, vasoconstriction. As you can see, A, the end product is saying vasoconstriction. So A is removed because during the day you never have vasoconstriction. During the day you never have vasoconstriction. So it means option A is out already, and also option B. So A is out and B is out because all of them end with vasoconstriction, and during the day you don't have vasoconstriction. You have got vasodilation. Okay, vasodilation, not vasoconstriction, vasodilation. Okay, so what happens to the sweat glands when it is hot? Whenever it is hot, what happens to the sweat glands? Okay, when it is hot, you produce more sweat. You find that when it is hot, you are sweating more. Okay, okay, more sweat is produced. Whenever it is hot, more sweat is produced. So whenever it is hot, more sweat is actually what? They're saying what happens to this. Actually, there's no answer here. There was a problem with this question. There was an error on this question. Even the AIZ made a mistake on this question because there's no answer here. Because whenever it is hot, more sweat is produced. As you can see, B is saying less sweat is produced, and also D is saying less sweat is produced, which is wrong. Because whenever it is hot, you produce more sweat. Okay? More sweat. Okay? More sweat. More sweat, and your elector muscles, they relax. Okay? More sweat and elector muscles relax. Because whenever the elector muscles relax, your hair becomes flat. Okay. Forget about this question. There's a problem with this question. There was an error that was made on this question. Do not do this question. There was an error that was made. This was actually the problem with the EIZ. They had done ECZ rather. There was a question error, but I'll explain so that you understand. When it is hot, you know that when it is hot, you produce more sweat. Okay? So it means one produces more sweat. As you can see, none of these shows that there is more sweat produced. Only C. And C cannot be the answer because it ends with vasoconstriction. And it's never vasoconstriction, it's vasodilation. Because when it is hot, you have vasodilation in the skin. Okay? So I'll explain. When it is hot, you produce more sweat. Okay? And what happens to the elector muscles? When it is hot, your elector muscles will relax. I said for you these notes. When you're feeling hot, your elector muscles relax. When your elector muscles relax, what happens to the skin? Okay? The hair in your skin becomes flat. Okay? That will allow heat to come out of your body. Okay? That will allow heat to come out of your body. Okay. Anyway, forget about this one. I've explained it. But there's a problem with this question. And then we have this question here. That's the kidney. The kidney deals with urea. If you remember, whenever you're dealing with the kidney, you always concentrate on urea and salts. Urea and salts. So it means amino acids already in the answer is not important. Proteins in the answer is not important. Because whenever you're dealing with the kidneys, you're always dealing with urea and salts. Okay? Urea and salts. But they're showing you the part P and Q. The part P is a renal vein. The part Q is a renal artery. So here it's showing you the diagram below shows the kidney associated with the structure and the percentages. So these percentages, as you can see, whenever any percentage, any element enters the kidney needs to work on that element. It's supposed to reduce. Okay, as you can see, urea there, instead of urea reducing, it's from 0.03, it became 2. So urea cannot be the answer. Just by looking at it, urea cannot be the answer because urea increased in the percentage. Whenever you pass through a kidney, you're supposed to reduce. Glucose from 0.1 to 0, glucose reduced. Can you see? Go from 0.1 to 0, it reduced. Amino acids from 0.05 to 0, they reduced. Salts from 0.7 to 1.5, they reduced. Proteins from 8 to 0, they reduced. But the correct answer here has to be glucose. Glucose was removed. The reason is the end products of urea is salts. I mean salts rather, not glucose, sorry, I made a mistake. I mean the end product of urea is salts. So it means when you're dealing with urea, it means you're dealing with salts. Glucose is not important. Amino acids is not important. Proteins is not important because when you're dealing with a kidney, the most important parts that you're dealing with, it's actually urea and salts. Okay? Urea and salts. Okay? So it means urea here is the one that reduced. Even if glucose reduced, amino acids, as you can see, they also reduced. Proteins, they reduced. But they're not part of the process that is taking place in the kidney. The main thing that takes place in the kidney is a reduction of urea and also the reduction of salts. So let's look at the answers. Deduce the function of the kidney based given in the table. 1. Removal of excess glucose from the blood. No. Why? Because glucose is not important in the kidney. It's not so much important in the kidney. 2. Removal of urea and salts from the kidney. That is correct. Why? Because I said in the kidney you deal with urea and you deal with salts. So B is a correct answer. Okay? B is a correct answer because in the kidney you deal to reduce glucose and you reduce urea and salts. Those are the ones that are reduced. All these amino acids, proteins are not important, and glucose are not reduced from the kidneys. Okay. The last question, 45. The diagram shows the respiratory system organs of a fish. Which part is used for gaseous exchange? It's the gills. See, you don't need to think anything. Gaseous exchange takes place in the gills. See, so the answer here is gaseous exchange, which is actually C. So that's how you solve these questions. Okay, I'll send these questions. I was just explaining them. Thank you.